and let us all do we can to build a better future.
So, everyone, yesterday was Earth Day, and I want to give an acknowledgement to Robbie Yeager, who has been following through with the North Carolina Colonial Pipeline spill. Robbie Yeager has done a lot of great stuff with Mikasa Sukasa, Nico House, Convo Couch, Slow News Day with Steve Boykman, and the rest of that crew. They've been doing a lot of great stuff. So here's what's going on. So according to a new press release from North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, Colonial Pipeline Company, whose pipeline leaked over 1 million gallons of gasoline into the Ulner Nature Preserve in Huntsville, North Carolina last August, verbally informed state regulators that their most recent estimate of the 1.2 million gallons was no longer accurate and that the model used was no longer appropriate. As such, the NCDQ is requiring Colonial to yet again revise their volume estimates, making this the third time the agency asked them to do so. So, screwed up once, twice, third time's the charm. Colonial's pipeline initial estimate in August was 63,000 gallons, a number which grew around 250,000 in November. After seeing disparities in Colonial's reporting of the amount of product recovered compared to the amount of product released, the North Carolina DEQ required the company to revise those numbers again, and Colonial came back with a whopping 1.2 million gallon estimate 2 months later in January this year. Apparently, the same type of disparities raised flags at DEQ this time around too, as Colonial reported recovering 944,400 gallons of gasoline from the spill site, as well as 1.5 million gallons of petroleum contact water, numbers that raised significant concerns with regulators. It is unacceptable for 8 months, Colonial Pipeline has been unable to provide a reliable counting of the amount of gasoline released into this community, said DEQ Secretary Dion Delegati in a statement contained within the press release. We will take all necessary steps and exercise all available authority to hold Colonial Pipeline accountable for what has become one of the largest gasoline spills in the country. This news comes just weeks after federal regulators at the U.S. Department of Transportation's Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, the PHMSA, released a scathing new report of their own in which they designated the entirety of the 5,500-mile pipeline, which runs from Texas to New Jersey, as a public and environmental safety risk with the potential for undetectable catastrophic leaks, such as the one in Huntsville. And as Daniel has said on the show numerous times, pipelines always leak. Pipelines always leak. Present throughout the system. The PHMSA also noted that Colonial's ineptitude at monitoring and detecting releases have greatly exacerbated the impact of the Huntsville incident, as well as their long history of spills. To that end, Colonial Pipeline is responsible for 32 of the 38 pipeline spills in North Carolina since 2000. Man, remember when that number used to mean something? Or that year? As well as 272 of the more than 2,750 pipeline spills nationwide during that time. The company has reported 63 separate incidents to federal regulators since the start of 2017, 10 of which have come since the last reported incident of the county's most infamous pipeline, Dakota Access. Where have we seen that before? As the Mikasa Sukasa network reported in February, Colonial Pipeline on the expected 45% of their 5,400-mile pipeline in 2019, with only 649 of those miles being checked for cracks, which the Huntsville leak originated from. Even worse, the company only checked 150 miles for cracks in 2018. In the aforementioned PHMSA report, regulators are requiring Colonial to submit a total and thorough evaluation of their inspection methods and leak detection technology, which by Colonial's own admission was inadequate to detect the spill. I mean, these people are incompetent. This is the biggest thing. Like, first of all, again, this outstanding article. The link to it is in the description box below, which could have leaked for weeks without knowledge.
So it's 1 million gallons total.
One final thing here. Both the NCDQ's and PHMSA's investigations are ongoing, and the two agencies seem to be coordinating their efforts. Stay tuned to Mikasa Sukasa Network for more information as it becomes available. So again, shout out to the author who made this, Robbie Yeager. Great work, and he has confirmed something we have said, so many other independent media networks have said. Pipelines always fail. Pipelines always break because pipelines are always built cheaply. But hold on, we're going to rewind back the clocks. This is from February. This video is from February. So again, the video is a little bit out of date, but just want to rewind back the clocks and just how bad this thing is. And yes, this is local reporting. Let's go ahead and play that video.
I hope it's a dog-like creature that's hosting this.
company. Fox. And because of a spill in Simpsonville in 1996 connected to Colonial, the Environment Protection Agency came down hard on the company. Fox 46 chief legal correspondent Seema Iyer is live in the newsroom. And Seema, the Simpsonville spill is just one of 3 previous spills it was penalized for.
That is correct, Lindsay. Now, we all know what's going on in Huntersville. Colonial Pipeline is working to clean up the estimated 1.2 million gallons of fuel, which started to spill back in August. Now, to this day, 740,000 gallons have been recovered. So we did some digging and found the Simpsonville case was one of 3 involving Colonial Pipeline where the United States government alleged gross negligence. And Lindsay, that is a very high legal standard to meet. Now, this is video you can see from the spill back in 1996 along the Reedy Creek River in South Carolina. The EPA found Colonial Pipeline knew the pipe in the river was exposed, rusted, and partially missing a protective coating. 1 million gallons of fuel was spilled, and it polluted more than 34 miles of the river. 35,000 fish were killed, and the groundwater was contaminated for more than 3 years. So far in the Huntersville case, Colonial Pipeline has not been penalized.
These aren't the only spills in the Carolinas connected to Colonial. So far in North Carolina alone, there have been 32 in the last 20 years. Is that right?
That's right. So Huntersville makes 32. Now, this is one of the biggest fuel spills. Actually, I think it's been recorded now as the biggest fuel spill in North Carolina history, projected perhaps to be the biggest spill in the United States history. Now, we want to put this into perspective, how big of a deal these spills in North Carolina are. From 2000 to 2019, there were a total of 2,751 spills in the United States. 272 of those spills were caused by Colonial Pipeline. Now, in North Carolina, between those 19 years, there were a total of 38 spills, and of the 38, 31 involved Colonial pipelines. Lindsay? Now, right now, sorry about that. The minimum cost to clean up the spill in Huntersville is $10 million.
All right, let's actually stop right there. So again, this is a video from February. You could check out all the links to it in our show notes and description box below. But as I read in that recent article, and again, shout out to Robbie, who did a fantastic job, the numbers are far, far worse. And why is it? And I'm feeling a little suspicious here that those numbers are going to keep on getting higher. And the amounts of accidents that Colonial Pipeline has done are actually much higher as well. We're just scratching the surface. Dare I say it, when we find out more, we're going to realize that a lot of our fresh, clean drinking water is heavily contaminated. And just a quick reminder to everyone that might not notice, but there's a Line 5 pipeline that's underneath Lake Michigan. Daniel, do you trust Line 5?
I try not to think about it.
Well, there we go. I hope all of you had a happy Earth Day yesterday, but it turns out our corporations are still polluting us.
It's gas day every other day.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is a giant pipe. It's like, I see E. Haller talking about it as well in the comments. They're just very flippant about it. Like, just giant spill, just another one of those. These happen all the time. Don't worry about it. They're responsible for about 10%. Also, a thing to remember is that we don't decommission these lines once they're laid, especially pipelines.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned earlier in the show, we used to put a lot of investment in the country, specifically in the 60s and 70s. That's when a lot of these pipelines were made, and they haven't been maintained. Now, they may have been made that far back with better quality than they are now, but metal rusts and corrodes, and those things are under a lot of pressure. And so we keep seeing more and more and more of these things break, and it's not just the new ones that are doing it, although they are. It's the old ones doing it more. And the saddest thing of all of this is that I think there's somewhere someone's watching this happen that's in charge of this, and he's like, we just lost $6 million worth of gasoline. I'm really sad right now.
Yep. Oh, well. Good thing the fossil fuel industry is being regulated. Oh, wait. No, that's not the case at all. The fossil fuel industry has the final word for our Republican lawmakers, but also our Democratic lawmakers as well.